We have all seen the news. Deforestation, biodiversity loss, and damage to forests are severe global issues with massive economic, ecologic, and societal implications. However, when looking at the state of forest in Europe, a different story emerges. Forests in Europe are monitored both on national and regional scale, and improvements have taken place measured on nearly all indicators that have been systematically followed during the past 30 years. But often, when things are getting better, we don't hear about them. We at Cepi relate to the future development with great ambition. Much more remains to be done. But it is also important to know the great development that is already taking place. Things are better than you may have thought. Let's have a closer look. Forests cover 1/3 of Europe's land area. The forest area and volume has increased in all regions of Europe. The total growing stock has increased by 10 billion cubic meters, or by 50%, while the forest area has increased by 19 million hectares since 1990. Simultaneously, we have been able to increase harvesting by 32% during the same period. Moreover, the forest grows in particular where the forest-based industry is strong. This is solid proof of sustainable forest management in action, a concept introduced, applied, and continuously improved in forestry already for over 300 years. 3/4 of the annual growth is used, while 1/4 or 160 million cubic meters of the growth is saved to the growing stock each year. The yearly European forest growth is as big as the entire forest resources of the United Kingdom. This means that we will have recovered from Brexit by the end of the year, at least as far as the forest resources are concerned. The forest turns into a net sink of carbon when the amount of carbon emitted in final fellings is less than the carbon sequestered. Meanwhile, carbon is also stored in bio-based products such as wooden buildings and furniture. Hence, active forest management plays an important role in maximizing the sequestration impact of forest, while simultaneously creating renewable raw materials, jobs, and welfare, making the economy move towards carbon neutrality. The amount of carbon stored in the biomass of European forest has grown by 50% over the last 30 years, thanks to long-term investments in forest resources, which has led to growth in the volume of wood. Currently, EU's forests sequester some 10% of EU's greenhouse gas emissions. When accounting for prevented fossil emissions by substituting fossil resources, the share is up to double that, 20% of all greenhouse gas emissions of the continent. While other sectors in the society are carbon sources, forest is a carbon sink, and that sink has grown by 5% in the past 3 decades. However, even if we can strengthen the sink with active forest management, the sequestration capacity is limited. Carbon neutrality would not be reached even if all of Europe would be entirely covered with forest. While sustainable forest management strengthens the sinks in the long run, emission reduction in other sectors is imperative. We must keep fossils in the ground. Biodiversity is important for forest resilience and well-being. Biodiversity in forest is safeguarded both through active forest management and protection of habitats. The area of forest designated for nature conservation has increased by 65% in 20 years, meaning that about 1/4 of European forests are protected. The systems in place to monitor forest resources are increasingly sophisticated. Biodiversity is increasingly used as a tool by corporations in their environmental impact assessments. The occurrence of birds is commonly viewed as a good indicator of biodiversity. While the occurrence of birds in agricultural lands has shrunk, have the populations of forest birds remained stable. In Europe, about 1 cubic meter of wood is consumed per capita every year. Traditionally, only under half of the forest biomass has been utilized in value-added products, while a large share has been used for green energy production. Sustainable bioenergy does play a role in decarbonization while moving towards the circular bioeconomy. The innovative European industry keeps on developing new end uses and products of industrial side streams, and inside the business ecosystems, markets do work very well. When a level playing field for all end users is ensured, those streams will be developed towards high-value, essential products benefiting our daily life and fitting well-functioning recycling infrastructures already in place. In many cases, these products replace fossil-based materials, having an immediate and significant climate mitigation benefit. The forest industry provides employment to millions across Europe and plays a central role in many countries' economies. 1 in 5 manufacturing companies in Europe is in the forest-based industries. During the past 30 years, a massive leap has been taken forward in the deployment of new technologies and digitalization. This in turn has enabled the competitiveness of the European industry through increased efficiency and higher value-added products through innovation. Forests are an important part in our daily life. They provide well-being to both rural and urban communities, prevent soil erosion, preserve water and air resources, and provide other ecosystem services. 70% of forest and wooded land are available for public recreation, and a European citizen visits forests on average some 16 times a year. Millions of Europeans are forest owners. Both the profile of the owners and the size and nature of forests varies largely, creating challenges for EU-wide forest policies to add value to already existing voluntary schemes and national regulation. Roughly 60% of the EU's forests are owned by private individuals, their cooperatives, and companies, who have a large opportunity and responsibility to determine the direction of development for forests in the future. It is crucial to ensure the profitability of forestry so that necessary investments in forest management, including biodiversity, can be carried out also in the future. Sustainable forest management is the basis for success in using nature-based solutions in our European economy, and in turn, the economy will continue to support sustainable forest management.